What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the BTB Show. Today it is myself and Earl to talk about the team that Earl's got on his hat right now, his favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Listen, it's always a time for the Lakers. They're always in the headlines every week for one reason or another. Half the time it's good stuff, half the time it's bad stuff. We're in one of those times where it's for some not so great stuff. Some interesting quotes coming out of Deandre Ayton and subsequent Ayton performances. Luka dialogue, LeBron dialogue. Earl, what are you making of all this? Is this just another blip on the radar, life of a Lakers fan, and they'll rip off 4 wins next week, or is this something to be a little bit more concerned about?
Honestly speaking, you know me. Like, you guys have been actively watching the channel for the last couple years, and I pride myself on being a positive Lakers fan. Like, some people call it delusion. I call it like looking at the best possible outcome for the season. I think it requires less stress for me as a fan. I get to watch basketball, enjoy hoops, while also criticizing things that I don't like. But today, I'm officially taking off that cap and putting on my Earl realist cap to really lock it in talk. First of all, Deandre Ayton is a disrespect to the city of Los Angeles. And that's not even me coming from like fully basketball perspective. It's when you get on the microphone and start running your mouth and you're not doing anything on the court. First thing he said was there was a report talking about his role with the team and how the team was playing on. Well, Deandre Ayton, when I give you the ball and you're missing 4 layups under the rim, how else do you want the ball? You want the ball in the mid-range to take a 50-foot floater and probably hit it at 50%? And to be fair, you were hitting it. He was hitting at a high. He was hitting at a high caliber early on in the season, and then the efficiency just tanked. It dropped. So what happens when your efficiency tanks? You don't get the same looks you were getting early on to the season consistently because you haven't proven you can make them. And with that being said, there was a quote coming out. They want me to be Clint Capella. Well, yes, I would love for you to be year 8 Clint Capella, averaging 11 points and 13 rebounds a game with almost 2 blocks. I would love to see that version. That's exactly what this team needs. Finishing lob dunks, now dropping the ball, bring the ball down every single play in the paint when you have the size advantage and getting ripped. Yes, I would love I would love Clint Capella, who, mind you, the night before last had 4 blocks. You have not given us any. You know what you had? A stinker. What was it? 2 points? 0 for 15. I don't know what the exact stats were. Plus, minus infinity. Absolutely garbage. And then on top of that, it gets worse. You mean to tell me a grown man in the year 2026, let me read the quote. The Lakers training staff wraps Deandre Ayton's water bottle in tape and writes, DA's crunk juice. Drink this to unleash the beast. Oh my goodness. Let me rephrase for the chat.
Yeah, read
it.
The
Lakers training staff wraps Deandre Ayton's water bottle in tape and writes DA's exclamation point S crunk juice dash drink this to unleash the beast. Well, obviously you weren't drinking enough of it because I've yet to see this beast that we're talking about unleashed. That is the most cringe-worthy thing I've ever heard for a player to then go out and drop a whopping 2 points, barely any rebounds, and lose to the Suns. Your matchup is Mark Williams. And no disrespect to Mark Williams, but to me, y'all are in the same tier. After tonight, he's better than you. It's a fact. He's better than he snatched your trade too. And I seen this old tweet pop up from 2018. It was hilarious. Somebody quoted it today. Joel Embiid said, "Don't compare me to Deandre Ayton." I don't know what the context was. I don't know what happened. But the fact it's coming back in 2026 is absolutely comical. But on top of that, it's just disappointing. Luka Doncic is having historically one of the best offensive seasons we've seen in the history of the game of basketball, and it's not doing any justice on this team. I don't think the fit works with LeBron as well. We've seen the plus minuses with both of those guys on the floor as well. It's obviously way worse when they play together as a duo. Opposed to him and Austin Reeves playing, it's always a positive, and that's no diss to LeBron, that's no diss to Luka. I just don't know if at this age that it works. Like, and we knew kind of going into this, I'm not counting the season. I already said this. My real Luka year 1 starts when LeBron retires, which is next year, or leaves the Lakers. That's just a fact. This team was never built around Luka. This is the remnants of LeBron and AD, as we've seen. We have no athletes on this team. We barely have any defense. I mean, God, who does Luka throw a lob to? In Dallas, he could do on to Derrick Jones Jr. He could do it to Lively. He could do it to Gaffer. Here, Jackson Hayes. Jackson, you see how, and last thing I'll say is, You see how good Jackson Hayes has been playing? Because that's the type of player that Luka
Better.
thrives next to playing with. Just saying.
Better.
Way better than Aiden. But that's all I have to say right now. I would rather us just completely fall apart and reposition ourselves in the draft to get a better pick than continue to play mediocre basketball and win once every 4 weeks. So, that's my thoughts.
It's a tough spot for the Lakers. I'm not quite as doom and gloom as Earl, which is very ironic because Earl is one of the most optimistic fans that I know. But I do acknowledge that this is not the first time we've come on the BTB show and talked about the Lakers struggling in the last week or 10 days. And it's always for a different reason. You know, one week it's LeBron's not locked in and playing defense. Another week it's because Austin Reeves is out. Another week it's because, something like this, or Deandre Ayton's having some really poor performances. But they do always seem to bounce back. And in the grand scheme of things, the Lakers are still 6th in the Western Conference at the time of recording this. They're 34-24, easily above 500. There's a lot of teams in the league that would kill to have that good of a record. So I do think that the Lakers are not in a terrible spot. What does concern me, though, is the fact, like you said, with this loss to Phoenix, they're now tied record-wise. Or sorry, they're not tied record-wise, but they're only one game ahead of the Phoenix Suns. The Suns technically have 2 more losses than them, but because I believe the Suns now own the season series, or they have the tiebreaker, the Suns are only 1 game behind them because they could tie. If they ended a tie, the Suns would jump them as of now. So if the Lakers fall into the play-in, I do worry just because of how inconsistent they are. I could see them losing. It's because it's 1 game winner take all, right? They could lose a game to Golden State. They could lose a game to the Trailblazers or the Clippers or the Grizzlies. Obviously, if you're in that 7 spot, you need to lose 2 games fully out. But if you don't win that 7-8 matchup, you're in the 9-10. So you're either getting knocked out or you're playing OKC on the road in a series. And I'm sorry, I'm not taking the Lakers in a 7-game series over OKC. I'm not that optimistic.
Yeah.
But with that said, if the Lakers are able to hold on to the 6th seed and they go up against the Houston, San Antonio, and Denver, I don't know. Personally, I feel like they could still win. This team is very structurally flawed. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the best constructed team in the NBA. I think it's far from it. But when you have the natural talent in a postseason setting like Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and I would have to assume LeBron James will be more locked in the postseason, those 3 can win you a series, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, to add on to that point, like, I definitely trust LeBron a lot in a postseason type situation. I know last year was a little bit different. Obviously, I think there was a lot of outliers with the Timberwolves playoff series. One, it was literally thrown together. Like, that was Luka's first experience really playing with us in a postseason setting. 2, Austin Reeves wasn't there mentally, nor was he there physically. And I think that affected his shooting a lot, as we've seen going into the season how much better he's gotten. And I think this year, I do like the roster a lot better compared to last season. Obviously, it was minor changes. Rui Hachimura, to me, is having a very underrated season, which not a lot of people are going to talk about. Sure. I think he played amazing, like I said, early in the season. If you bring Rui off the bench, I think he'd be one of the best 6-men in the league, and that's kind of proven itself a little bit. Not saying he's the best, but efficiency-wise, he's looked a lot better compared to
he's
last
year
as a starter.
This year, right? Like, just hitting his catch and shoot, coming off, mid-range pull-ups. Like, he's doing what they brought him in to do. What was it? Is he played there 4 years now? 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's like year 4, maybe.
I
think it's like 4.
That's crazy.
Like, to that point, I think we just need a change, man. Like, I love Bron. I love what he's bringing to the team, but I don't know if the fit works, like, future-wise, like, defensively with this core. And it's not necessarily his fault. I think it's just the combination of Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. And I think the only thing that makes sense now moving forward, we know there's a rift between LeBron and the front office, and we know his time is pretty much coming to an end, whether he plays one more season in Cleveland, which will obviously would be a good fit for him with the roster they have, or if he just decides to retire and work on his plans to join the expansion of the league and what that yields and owning a team. I just don't see him playing next year, and that's going to open up a lot of money for us. And I'm not one of those people who disrespects LeBron. LeBron is my favorite player of all time. Like, he brought us a championship. Like, the Lakers were in a hole for years after Kobe Bryant retired of just mediocre basketball. That's a fact. Did we have our fun teams and stuff like that? The Light Skin Connection team, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, all those guys. Was it fun to watch, entertaining? For sure. But we traded away. We won a championship, which is hard to do in this modern NBA. It's really hard to compete and win championships in this era of the NBA, and we did it. So yeah, I think the future for us, I'm excited. We obviously not traded. When I say traded, we finally, which is funny, Rob Pelinka. It's funny what happens when you get new management. They actually check in the office to see if you're doing your job. We just hired. Why do I keep saying fire? Maybe because I want Rob Pelinka gone. Sorry. We just hired a draft expert. Funny enough, Rob Pelinka just oh, let me see, spin the wheel who we're drafting. We didn't have one. Apparently we didn't have draft evaluators. We just rolled up to draft day and was like, oh, maybe this guy works. Now we have one. I'm super excited. Worst decision of all time. And then don't connect. Oh my God, back to back. Don't get me started. We won't talk about them.
I had higher hopes for Jalen Hood-Schifino. I really thought he was going to be a solid player.
I mean, the way they talked him up. You know how he got drafted, though, right? You know how he got drafted, though?
Well, yeah, but Connect was showing
the story?
He was a solid player before the trade happened, but Jalen Hood-Schifino it just never clicked. I don't know. That was a weird one.
Do you know the story about Jalen Hood-Schifino, though? Rob Pelinka went to the tournament, a basketball tournament. He seen him play one time. He's like, man, this guy will look great in Lakers jersey. And then everybody was telling him, hey, I don't know if this is our guy. They gave suggestions on who they wanted to take here. He said, I've decided we're taking Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Well, listen, if it had worked out, he would have looked like a genius. There's been other times in NBA history, you always hear stories of, oh, this coach went to one workout and he saw this player, lift weights for 5 minutes, and he was like, that's my guy. That's my future MVP. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But to bring it all back to the man of the hour, Deandre Ayton. I agree with you that he does need to be better, especially if he is going to be vocal to the media like this.
Yes.
And, I personally think Clint Capella gets a little bit too much hate.
I agree.
He's saying, a lot of times people will say, like, he was made by Harden, he was only good because of James Harden, he's not that good. People forget that when the Rockets were really good in 2017, 2018, 2019, granted with prime James Harden, but Clint Capella was a top 10 center in the NBA. And he had a very good stretch. And I do think that is where DeAndre Ayton could get to, if not better. Because physically, DeAndre Ayton is a more gifted athlete than Clint Capella. I don't think that is a hot take. He has the athleticism, he has the size. Capella's always been a little undersized from center, not a ton, but, the vertical as well. Like, DeAndre Ayton has the tools to be better than Clint Capella. And Clint Capella was already, again, in his prime, a top 10 big in the NBA, I would say. But Clint Capella was able to really maximize his impact on the court, I think with a very high basketball IQ, a very high attention to detail. He didn't try and overstep his boundaries. He was very good at what he did. He was very good at setting picks, catching lobs, grabbing offensive rebounds especially, offensively and defensively, honestly, a very good rebounder. And you see, he's still in the league, carving out a solid career for himself back on Houston. Like Earl said, he just had a good game the other night. So it's that kind of attention to detail that I think DeAndre Ayton is missing. And that's not a crazy thing to say. That's what people criticize him for throughout his whole career. But now that he's in Los Angeles versus on Phoenix, it's only magnified. Much love to Phoenix, not the market that LA is. When you're in LA, the spotlight's going to be on you. And quotes like this, quote, are not helping the situation because he's invoking Clint Capella. I can't even tell him in a negative way. He's trying to make it sound like them wanting him to be Capella is a bad thing.
Exactly.
When actually not. It would be great if he was Capella. They should want him to be Capella, but not the way he's saying. It's weird. So when you're bringing the spotlight on you even more, that's not a recipe for success.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, I agree with you there, man. And obviously the Lakers, we'll see what happens this season. I honestly think there is a lot that has to happen in a good way for Lakers to be competitive in all the year and to even have any type of shot for competing for a championship. We'll see what happens, but let us know in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Los Angeles Lakers? Do you think the season's over? Do you think the future's bright? Don't forget also to like and subscribe on this video. And let us know what your favorite video so far this year has been.
Yeah, drop it down in the comments. We'll read them.
Peace.
Adios, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.